folks, and welcome to another episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installation. We are in an odd week. Our newsworthy matchups are happening earlier in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday. So for Thursday, Friday, we really don't have anything worth mentioning. So this is the perfect time to bring our special segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And with playoffs just around the corner here, David, so far, what are your thoughts on the Pinal County basketball scene?
Yeah, right now I think the good, we got to start with two teams for me. At the top, at the 5A conference, we have Casa Grande Union, who has had a really good season so far. And this is a season they need to have. This is a team that is reliant on some seniors and a team that is focused on getting finally to that playoffs and getting over that playoff hump once they get there. So they need to rack up wins. They've been doing a pretty good job of that. They took a little bit of a step back last week, losing to Maricopa, which was a great game for the Rams, not a good game for the Cougars. So they're going to have to bounce back here and focus up and get back on that track a little bit, and they've done a really good job of that. The other good is Coolidge basketball is back. They took a little bit of a step back in the last few seasons, but now they are fully back as the team to be in Pinal County. That 3A conference that we have with a three-headed monster like Coolidge, Florence, ALA Ironwood, those teams are still going strong, but it's just a lot of turnover especially for teams like Florence and ALA Ironwood. So Coolidge has really capitalized on that and have found their footing and have the guys necessary and have the depth necessary to have a really solid season, and they've done that so far. The bad I kind of spoke on a little bit, just some teams kind of going through those growing pains of reestablishing themselves after a lot of senior exoduses that happened. So teams like ALA Ironwood and Florence, they're still holding strong a bit. I think they could be doing better. A team that I wish was doing better is Maricopa. I think I really like the system they have in place with head coach Tim Wilson. I think he has a good solid foundation for them. Senior Ruben White has done a really solid job for them this season as a senior, but things still just aren't really clicking for them. They are on the outside looking in when it comes to playoff rankings. They still need to really kind of ramp up as we get to the final stretch of the season if they want to have that chance of getting there. And then the ugly really is I don't know what to make of the girls system this year. There's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of teams that are still trying to figure themselves out, but I do want to say that I really like what Santan Foothills is doing. I got the chance to see them this week, and I really liked how they have a system in place relying on their senior talent, but also trying to get some younger classmen involved and get a full-fledged system and a full-fledged roster going. So it really just comes down to, can the top teams stay on top, and can some middle of the pack try to go on a little bit of a run here to potentially get in the playoffs? And then the other part is we have to figure out what the Open is going to look like as well. The Open is still going to be a very interesting topic that we're going to have to figure out as we move forward. So we'll see what happens. But again, it's the teams that are on top. Can they stay on top? Can the middle of the pack teams find a way to go on a run and get themselves into the playoffs?
So I'm going to talk about the girls' teams here. David mentioned the Open. The Open for both big schools and small schools, because small schools have the Copper Open. The Opens are going to be our Pinal County's girls basketball team's best friends. And the reason I say that is because right now in the 5A conference, Vista Grande is sitting at number 28. But 10 of those 5A teams are ranked in the Open. 3 of those are top 10. So if these teams can stay in the Open for as long as possible, that's going to allow Vista Grande the possibility to kind of sneak into the playoffs, into that top 24 spot. Now, a lot needs to happen here in order, besides those Open teams. Vista Grande has to win a couple games here. And that's kind of been a struggle for this really young team. But the future is bright. Antonio Hurd has come in. He's trying to establish his system. He's just a second-year head coach with the Spartans. And so far, there's been a lot of growing pains. Last year, it wasn't so bad, but his team was really senior heavy. They all left. So right now, it's essentially starting at square one with these young girls coming in, just trying to learn everything, trying to adjust to the varsity speed. So right now, they're going through their bumps. But later on in the future, I think the Spartans teams can really make a lot of noise. Looking at 3A, pretty much right now, Coolidge is our only girls team that is in the playoffs if they were to start this week. Coolidge is ranked number 17. I'm kind of hurt for this Coolidge team. There was a lot of high expectations coming into this because of what potentially would have been But right now, hey, they've had to make adjustments. They lost a couple of players on their roster, but they still have all three White sisters in Alasia, Alana, and Azaria. And they are the motor that makes this Coolidge team run. It all starts with Alasia White. You know, I call her the triple double queen. She's had to adjust right now, but her sisters, Alana and Azaria, they're stepping up and trying to provide that added protection for her to do her thing. And then staying in 3A Florence, number 27, like I mentioned with Vista Grande, hey, for the 3A conference, four of those teams, four of the top teams in 3A are ranked in the top 5 in the Copper. It's the same thing. Hey, if they can stay in there as long as they can, then hey, Florence has the possibility to also sneak in. But the big question here is with the Open is how seriously are these teams going to take that opportunity? Because like we saw last year, a couple of those teams, hey, they sat their star players because they wanted to go back to their conference because that's where they had the better opportunity to win a state championship. So is this Open really helping anybody? I don't know. It's just a matter of can we enforce teams to take it seriously or not? That's really the question here. David, anything else you want to add?
I'm glad you brought up the point about the Open here with a lot of teams benching some of their star players. And just this is a general note. If you are lucky enough to make it to that Open championship, and I'm sorry you're so good because you have to be in that position and you can't just take that step back and say that, oh, we have a better chance of winning a state championship if we go down back to our conference. That's just not fair. And I think that the AIA needs to look at that, and especially for teams that know how good they are, the AIA needs to do something about that, and we'll see if that ever happens. But right now, that AIA, like you mentioned, that Open is going to be the best friend of some of our girls' teams because that's their ticket to the playoffs. If they want a ticket to the playoffs, they're going to have to rely on the Open here. And it's same thing for the boys' side. Some of those teams are going to be able to squeak in here. So it's a wait and see game like it has been all season, but we'll have to wait and figure out what that situation is going to look like as we get towards this final stretch here.
As always, be sure to check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage.